Welcome to Heavy Talk. I'm your girl, Heavie Charnice, aka Heavie, and I am back another episode of Heavy Talk. Here to serve us more straight talk and no chaser. Happy Heavy Talk Friday. Thank you so much for joining me for more straight talk with no chaser. Let's get right into today's episode, giving you your inspiration, your word of the day. Today's word is noise. There will always be noise, both figuratively and literally. The outside noise will try to throw you off, but tune it out. Stick to your plan. Do not let up. That's your inspiration, your word of the day. As always, make sure that you follow at HeavieTalk on Twitter and Facebook for daily words. You can also follow me at Heavie Charnice because I do drop some inspiration throughout the week. Now let's get right into today's episode. I want to get right into everything that has been going on with sports, especially since NBA is back. The season kicked off this week. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Starting with the fact that there's just so much to keep up with now because there have been so many different trades. Players are every which way. There's been so many different rules that have gone on. So it's a lot. I feel like I need to like study up on the trades, on who's on what teams and what the new rules are before I even start watching games again, because I'm going to get confused. Like, wait, when did he get to this team? And wait, I didn't know that was a rule now. Like, I feel like I'm so out of it because I've been so zoned into football as of late that I don't really know anything about basketball. The interesting part now, though, that I'm seeing with the few games that I have been watching, what I have been keeping up with in terms of players and teams, and that there are so many like super teams or like mini super teams now. Back when I was really heavy into the NBA, that was a big thing that so many players were against. Like, I don't really like super teams. That's basically like cheating, like that's not cool. Now it seems like almost every team in the NBA has some form of a super team. As I was getting ready for this podcast, off the top of my head, I just started making a list of the different players that are on each team that kind of look super team-ish. With the Lakers, you got LeBron and AD. Regardless of what y'all now think about AD, he's kind of a superstar and star. So they get their own little squad. Then you got the Warriors, where we already know the Splash Brothers. We got Draymond Green, who's been there. And now the Warriors have Chris Paul. I would have never thought I would see the day where Chris Paul would be on the Warriors, but here we are. Then you got the Suns. They've had so many different changes in the offseason. They have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. Wow. Now that is a decent squad right there. Then we go to the Mavs, which I really hadn't been watching that many Mavs games before, but I was able to finally see Luka play when the NBA kicked off, and like he's everything that y'all said he is. He's definitely decent. So you got Luka and we got Kyrie. We already know how cold Kyrie is. So wow, that's quite a team. And then we got the Celtics with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then their new addition of Jrue Holiday, who was previously on the Bucks. Pretty good team there. And then speaking of the Bucks, here we go. The Bucks, they already have Giannis, NBA champions, and now they just acquired Dame Lillard, who was long time with the Blazers. So this is what I'm saying. Almost every team here has some form of a super team full out or a mini super team. Like, wow, would have never thought this will be where we are when years ago everyone was calling out LeBron for going to Miami and joining Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and y'all didn't like that. And y'all didn't like when KD went to the Warriors, with Steph and Clay after he had almost beat the Warriors when he was with the Thunder. Now looky here, almost all of y'all have super teams. Look at the irony in that. not just the players who's changing, all of these different rules to the NBA. Like I said, we got these new participation rules when it comes to stars. A lot of y'all stars, NBA teams was doing load management. Adam Silver was not playing that, so he came out with some new rules, really for the fans, because fans pay a lot of money to come to these games. They have these dates set far out, months in advance, just to get to the game. And a player that they really wanted to see is not there, so which kind of sometimes leads to a blowout. So it's not even really a good game. So no more of that. It really could cost the NBA dollars, because then fans are like, well, what's the point of me buying a ticket if my favorite player might not be there anyway, or it's not going to be a good game? So Adam Silver deaded that, like, you got to have at least one superstar in the game. Like, y'all just can't be doing that load management stuff. We're not having that. So we got those rules, which we talked about in the past episode. Go read up on that. Then we had the All-Star finally going back to how it was when I was a kid growing up watching the NBA. Ain't no more of this team captain stuff. Now we got East versus West again. That's one of my favorite formats that they have for the All-Star game. Hopefully the All-Star game starts to get back to what it used to be, because the last couple years, it's been a little bit dry. The skills challenge, the dunk contest, for the most part, it's usually very decent. I think especially the one that happened last year. But generally speaking, the All-Star game or the All-Star weekend has not been what it used to be, because a lot of the stars that are in the NBA choose not to participate in things like the dunk contest. So hopefully it starts getting back to what it once was, so they can draw in more viewership, because I don't even really be watching it anymore. And then we have this new in-season tournament that the NBA is doing. So there's just so many rules to keep up with the NBA. Now, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. You may want to stop here, because I'm about to talk about Dwight Howard briefly. Again, trigger warning. I don't want to trigger anyone. So fast forward like a minute, because we're not going to talk about this for too long, not at all. So fast forward like a minute and then catch us there. So do your research and figure out the full Dwight Howard story. But in short, Dwight Howard, an former NBA basketball player, star, played on the Lakers, long time, played with the Magic. He was accused of sexual assault by a man. Now, there have long been rumors and speculation and stories circulating about Dwight Howard's sexuality, but there's not been really any concrete proof for anybody to really have any justifiable footing to say what they're saying about him. So it was just merely speculation, and that was just that. But this new story that has come out in these new legal documents, where seemingly Howard has admitted to partaking in sexual relations, allegedly, with this man. Some people are just not surprised. And that's really where the story has stopped at. The alarming part for me is people are more so talking about the fact that Dwight Howard could possibly have been with a man, or just being homophobic and all of their different gross comments, rather than the fact that he could possibly allegedly have been partaking in predatory actions and things. Like, why are we only focusing on that part of him being with the man? Like, why are we losing the SA part? Like, this is another example for me that y'all be focused on the wrong ish. Y'all missing the completely important part of the story. People love who they love. People do what they do behind closed doors with who they want to do with. Why are y'all focused on that part, not the fact that he could potentially, allegedly, have been doing predatory things? Like, why is it not what y'all really talking about? Instead of all of these other memes, y'all been talking about other stuff, putting up his injury report, like this is why he probably had these injuries because of blah, 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 making all y'all kind of jokes. Like, it's just childish. It like really is, and it's showing the homophobia in a lot of y'all. See, we're done talking about that. That's all I want to say about it. I'm not getting reading to the legal documents. I'm not getting reading into the dude text messages. We're not doing that. Now let's talk about Ja Morant. Ja Morant, Ja Morant. Oh, honey. ESPN recently put out a very interesting article about Ja Morant. I would urge you to go and read this because there was a lot of different parts to this article. I will summarize it in short and tell you the parts that I found to be interesting. So on a general level, the article started with just describing how on the surface at the beginning, Ja Morant seems to be a very kind, humble kid. Before he really was brought into the NBA, scouts had did their background research on him. They talked to his coaches, people that he knew him in his whole town, and everyone said that he was a very good kid, a very humble kid. He never got into any kind of trouble, anything like that. Then the article turned into how shortly after he began to show his stardom in the NBA, which included getting into the All-Star game as a starter, he just kind of started spiraling out of control, and who was once a very humble and kind kid turned to a kid that was maybe a little arrogant, who had an entourage, who was just everywhere he was going, he was starting trouble, even at the places that he used to frequent when he was a kid or when he was in college. So you may have heard about a lot of these different incidents that Ja Morant was involved in. The article gave more context to each of these incidents, which kind of show how Ja Morant started to spiral. The incidents, like there was speculation or reports about this incident where Ja Morant's entourage, they were in a car and allegedly there was a red laser that was pointed at their opponent's team bus, and Ja Morant was in that car where the laser had came from. Now, the NBA investigated and they couldn't find any evidence of that. That was one of the reports that had came out about Ja. Then there was another one. I believe that this kid is suing him where it was some type of pickup ball game where they were playing basketball at Ja's house, and then like the kid ended up getting beat up. That was another story that had came out. This was all kind of in the same, around like the same time frame. Then we heard of another story where Ja Morant's mom was at a store and things just wasn't going well at the store between the mom and whoever owned the store or an employee there, which led her to call Ja, and then him and his entourage came up there, and then things kind of went left from there. So it's kind of like a pattern that we're seeing here, leading to the story or the incidents that really grew media attention and what got him into trouble quite a few times and getting suspended is the different incidents of Ja Morant flashing guns on camera, on social media, on Instagram Live. Now, when these incidents first happened, I talked about just for the irony, for lack of a better word, with the Grizzlies and with Ja and with everything that was going on. So the few games and the few things that I had heard about the Grizzlies during that time, it was things like they were having different rappers who were like beefing at the game. They were sitting them courtside. And we can already know how things can stem from there, especially if it's street rappers or street people. We know how things can just escalate. You got both of these people courtside, which can kind of escalate situations. Then I talked about an incident where it was some rappers that were at a game sitting courtside and they were like playing dice, shooting money, playing dice, like having money all on the court. Then going to their theme music that was like real, like, you know, shoot 'em up, bang bang type music. I had talked about all of this. Like, it seems like the Grizzlies are trying to create or foster a certain type of culture and or environment. So it's ironic that with y'all like doing all of these different things and then you're kind of surprised or upset when one of your players plays into that culture or tries to emulate some of that culture. Like, it really does not make sense to me, because like the music that y'all playing, he's like listening to that and he's trying to mimic that culture. Like, that's what he's feeding into. All of that, having rappers that's beefing courtside, like it seems like they were just playing into it. So the whole thing was just very odd to me, how hard they were coming down on him. Now, he was wrong, but it just seems very hypocritical to me. So it seems like I was not off in my thinking, because this is a part that the article talked about. The article talked about different measures that the Grizzlies took to try to get Ja Morant back on track. Now, this is directly from the article. This article is again from ESPN. It says, while Morant was away, the team made changes. The rap soundtrack played during the team's layup lines was replaced by R&B music. This change that was made prompted a Grizzlies player by the name of Jaren Jackson Jr. to playfully complain in the locker room post-game about being forced to warm up to love songs. That point that I was just making, y'all playing all of this shoot 'em up, bang bang rap music, which you can guess is all about that culture, toting guns and all of that. And then you go and you get mad when the young man is doing that, or you don't understand like where that's coming from. Like, I'm not getting it. Then the article goes on to say the pregame hype video played before starting lineup and introductions was edited to remove lyrics of the Trippie Redd song Psycho, playing only the bass thumping beat. So here are some lyrics from this Trippie Redd song that they decided to remove the lyrics from the pregame hype video and only have the beat. The lyrics were going dumb, going crazy, going dumb, going crazy, going dumb out of my mind, cash and dollar signs, sipping red wine, we all losing time, babe, don't lose your mind. Article also went on to say, in Trippie Redd's music video for the song, he's partying in a strip club, throwing cash that covers the floor, a scene reminiscent of Morant's night at Shotgun Willie's. This is exactly what I was saying. In one of those videos where Ja Morant where he had flashed the gun, he was in a strip club. And then when this report first came out, people was getting different footage of the strip club, and it was showing Ja Morant, like, I think someone was like sitting on his lap, and a stripper was like sitting on his lap, and he was like throwing money. So like, music definitely does influence. It seems like Ja Morant was listening to his music, being around the people that he was around, maybe people who were in a different type of a lifestyle that he shouldn't be involved in with the career that he's in. And all of that started to influence his mind and started to have him thinking that this is how he should live, or this is how, or this is what he should be doing. It's exactly what I was saying episodes ago when I talked about the hypocrisy and the culture that the Grizzlies were trying to portray, and then to just their level of confusion as to why Ja was acting how he was acting, or where, like, he would get this from. Like, y'all know what y'all was doing when y'all had those rappers at the game, where y'all had them shooting dice at the game, where y'all had those pre-game songs. Like, y'all knew all of what y'all was doing. So there shouldn't be that much confusion. I said from the beginning, Ja was wrong. He should have more sense than that. But again, the Grizzlies shouldn't just be dumbfounded. Like, you shouldn't be as confused as you are. Like, you know exactly what was going on. This is another reminder to be careful what you are feeding your mind. Music, video games, movies, all of that can definitely influence you in ways that you're not even conscious of. Because I see that we're clearly seeing it here with someone like Ja Morant, who it seems like the music he's listening to, the people who he is around, seems to be influencing him. Another young man, music, the culture, a certain lifestyle that he's trying to live up to, seems to be influencing him. Mikey Williams. Now, I'm gonna have to do my research more on Mikey Williams and his story. But what I do know about him is he was a rising star. He was said to have a really good future in the NBA. Rising star. There was a lot of talk about him. I think he had already been recruited to a school. Then Mikey Williams got hit with 6 felony gun charges. He is currently on trial. Now, while Mikey has been on trial, he made a social media post quoting the rapper Rollo. Do y'all know what he said? I'm not gonna be as funny as Mace, unfortunately, when he said when talking about this, but I'll try my best. This is what Mikey Williams posted on his social media page, quoting Rollo. Say the judge and DAF with his head, just stay afloat. As Mace said, you're going to jail. You're going to jail, Mikey. Doing things like this, you're going to be in the slammer indefinitely. It's bad enough with the bright future that you already had set out that you would even put yourself in situations like that to begin with. That in itself is beyond me and flabbergasting. But okay, you got yourself in this predicament, your own trial. The one thing you decide to do is make a social media post quoting a song and those lyrics like that. Like Mace said, you don't talk about the judge and the DA while the trial is going on to make them more mad and give them more ammunition. You wait until you already won. That's when if you feel the need, that's when you start popping your beat. You don't do it while this stuff is like ongoing. It's like you're asking for trouble. Like you're asking to get locked up. Go check out Mace and Cameron's show and see their full analysis of this, because Mace's reaction, like I said, to this was absolutely hilarious. It was trending. Now let's get into some lighter subjects in Heavie Sports Corner. Let's give a congratulations to the Las Vegas Aces for winning back-to-back WNBA titles. They beat the Liberty this year to get their NBA title, and last year they beat the Connecticut Sun. So shout out to them. They are doing the darn thing. And one cool aspect of this whole situation for me is that Tom Brady is a minority owner of the Aces. So in addition to his other rings that he got from being goated in the NFL, he gonna get a ring from being a minority owner of the Aces. Tom Brady know what he's doing. And I love the attention that the WNBA has been getting. Much deserved, much needed. About time that they're finally getting what they deserve. So again, congratulations to the Las Vegas Aces, and big congratulations to Aja Wilson. She won Finals MVP, even though she got robbed of regular season MVP. But that's okay. It's okay. Girl, Aja Wilson, continue to put Black girl magic on display and continue to show them that you are not to be played with and that you deserve MVPs and trophies and not to get robbed. Speaking of more Black girl magic, let's talk about Angel Reese. If you're not familiar, as you can recall, Angel Reese helped LSU to win their first NCAA women's basketball title last season. We all know about that whole spectacle that ensued with Caitlin Clark and the, hand and all of that gibberish. And during that time, when Angel Reese was out here getting buckets, Shaq, the former NBA star and entrepreneur, always praised Angel. He even called her the best athlete in LSU history. It seems like Shaq is a very big fan of Angel Reese still, because shortly after Shaq was named the president of Reebok basketball, he signed Angel Reese to a massive NIL deal. Now, this article that I read from Sports Illustrated said Angel Reese becomes the brand's first major NIL signing and the first signing under the newly appointed president of Reebok basketball. So shout out to Angel Reese. You are continuing to get to the bag with these NIH deals. And congratulations to Shaq. Man, he get into his bag as well. He got his hands on all type of pots. I know he got money from his NBA season, all of his different businesses. Continue to get to the bag, Shaq. Now let's get into education, what's been going on with my HBCUs. HBCU season, homecoming season is still among us. I want to wish an early happy GHOE to my Aggies. GHOE is about to start this weekend, depending on when you are listening to this. So be safe and have a blast. Now, if you are not familiar of what GHOE is, I'm going to tell you: greatest homecoming on earth. Argue with your mama, don't argue with me. Greatest homecoming on earth. Aggie pride all the way, every day, all day. More with my HBCUs. Good news coming out of Grambling University. Clap it up for Grambling. Grambling University's president has been named the next president of the University of Louisiana system. Rick Gallet. He became the second African-American to serve in this role as the president of the University of Louisiana system. So congratulations to him and congratulations to everybody at Grambling. The HBCU pride runs deep no matter what the HBCU is. That's absolutely great news. More Black excellence on display coming out of Boston University. Dr. Melissa Gilliam is expected to become the first Black and the first female president of Boston University. Clap it up for her. She is expected to take over on July 1st, 2024. Love to see it. Love to see Black representation and Black women doing great things. Hope that she has a great tenure as president of Boston University. Lastly, in our education news, I want to talk about a new law that is coming out of California, and I absolutely love this. I love to see it. The California governor has signed a bill to grant up to $5,000 to community college students who transfer to historically Black colleges and universities. Wow. I absolutely love that. I wish more states would sign bills like that. It would encourage students to attend HBCUs because you're getting up to $5,000. To read more about that, head to Blavity because that is where I got that information from. Now let's get into all the things that have me like WTF, because the streets have definitely been raging. This is beyond me. A preparatory school in the United Kingdom has named an AI robot as its principal head teacher. This is what we're doing with this AI now. We're going to name an AI as a principal head teacher. We're going to name AI as any type of role in a school. You couldn't find anyone else that was qualified for the job but an AI. According to this article, the robot will work alongside the human principal at the school and will provide enhanced decision-making. The robot will give advice on a broad range of topics, including how to support teachers, students, and those with special needs. WTF. Now this right here, this was kind of funny. I can't lie, this was hilarious. A man has been arrested for faking heart attacks in 20 restaurants to avoid paying bills. Sir, really? A 50-year-old man was recently arrested after he threw himself on the ground and pretended to be unwell at a restaurant in Spain. Okay, sir, you get it off one time. Okay, you get it off twice. All right, maybe even you get it off 3 times. You're gonna do this at 20 different restaurants? WTF, sir. You have to draw a line somewhere. Now you didn't got arrested. Speaking of more hilariousness and the conning and criminality has reached new levels. Y'all is getting smart. A man has been arrested after posing like a mall mannequin to steal after hours. Now, how smart is that? And how do you just maintain your pose for that long? Wow, that takes real stamina and determination. You was determined to steal. Wow. According to this article from Complex, a 22-year-old man in Poland has been arrested after acting like a mannequin to avoid security cameras at a shopping mall, police said. According to a statement from police, the man waited until the mall was closed to steal jewelry from a kiosk. He stayed in one spot and was motionless until the coast was clear. He then proceeded to ransack various shops inside the mall. I wonder if he practiced this before he actually tried it at the store. How did he know he was going to be able to stand still for that long? And I'm interested in knowing how long did he stand still? When did he start his shift as a mannequin? Was it once they was about to close, we didn't have to stand there for that long? Or did he stand there all day? I need more information. A Georgia man has been hit with a $1.4 million speeding ticket. Now, WTF, he must have been going really fast. He got this speeding ticket after he was caught driving 90 miles per hour in a 55 miles per hour zone. Wow. If I got that in the mail, I would have thought that it was some type of clerical error because ain't no way y'all think that I'm finna pay $1.4 million for a speeding ticket. That's beyond me. Now this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I don't even know how people even make errors like this, especially with this type of money. And I'm just reading to y'all. Man received a random $100,000 and $400,000 in his bank account, and the bank told him to keep it. So he received almost $250,000 in his bank account. When he inquired to the bank, where did this come from? They told him to keep it. Then the following day, the bank realized their mistake and contacted him requesting that he return the money. One, I tried to give y'all money back and y'all told me to keep it. So two, what if I already spent it? Y'all told me yesterday that I can keep it. Now today y'all want y'all money back? That's I don't think so. This I would be suing. Emotional distress. Emotional distress. A 23-year-old man was accidentally locked inside a security vault in New York City for 10 hours. WTF. How does this even happen? The man was accessing his safe deposit box in a security vault in Midtown when employees closed it unaware he was inside. Do y'all know how long he stayed in there? 10 hours. Authorities say the man got stuck inside at 7 p.m. and remained there for about 10 hours. So like the next business day, these people finally realized that they left this man in a vault. So much for being secure. He could have been in there going through everybody's box. But I'm sure he did it because he was like traumatized about this. Wow. And last but not least, this is just like, I am disgusted and I'm like flabbergasted at the same time. There is a such thing as a Seattle gum wall. Why didn't no one tell me about this? Why did I just find out about this? I was scrolling on Twitter and I seen a video of this. There's a gum wall in Seattle. It's exactly what I'm saying. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me wrong. It is a wall with gum on it. Gross and disgusting. That wraps everything I had in my WTF for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of HeavieTalk, Straight Talk with No Chaser. Make sure that you are taking heed of our word of the day. That is silence the noise. Keep doing what you're doing. Block it out. Put your blinders on and run your race. Get ready for National Entrepreneurship Month, which is coming up in November. Stay tuned for the Black Dot blog. We will be highlighting different entrepreneurs, and you will be able to catch my interview with my most recent scholar for 13 counseling services. Also be on the lookout for our Giving Tuesday campaign because we're counting down the days until Giving Tuesday, the annual day of giving. Give some money or just give your support to an impactful cause or initiative. And if you would like, we would greatly appreciate it. Consider donating to the Black Dot blog to support a Black business scholar. And if you can donate, just nominate your favorite Black business. That is another way to support the Black business and to support the scholarship. I will catch you here next week, same time, for more Straight Talk with No Chaser. I'm your girl, Heavie, aka Heavie, and I'm out.